Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right. Shop Class Podcast. All right, tonight's guest, a drop-in guest, unplanned, but an OG original, Mr. Barbercheck. This is from back in the day. Barbercheck and I started this podcast 1,051 years ago, and he stopped cutting his hair at that time, and, and we he dropped in. We're checking on the length. It's been a while. Back then they had haircuts, and then the haircuts became obsolete sometime about 50 years ago, and he just kept on going. So no, but anyway, yeah. So Barbercheck's a shop teacher in Northern Michigan. We got Nick, we got Duke, we got Kirk. Kirk's becoming a regular. And so tonight it's kind of cool because Barbercheck actually went and got finally sent off a project that was a 2-year project of a sauna. It's like a mobile sauna. It's like, can you imagine in the middle of winter you could just have one of these parked at your house? I would rent it. It'd be amazing, you know. But anyway, so we want to hear all about that project, and then also he has a new project he's coming up with, and we were just talking about it. So, do you want to continue what you were saying about your next year's project, or you want to tell us about the send off, like how you know?
I'll just continue with.
Continue. So, what are you going to do next year now that you did this, or next project?
So, I'm wondering what other people's experiences are with this to a degree, and like how they maintain that relationship with someone who's sponsoring a project like that. Because what I'm looking for is basically, when it comes to adjusting my dials and levers, my number one priority after working with this person who is really easy to work with and really supportive is finding the easy, supportive person to work with and flexing on everything else I want. Whether it's
how did you get the first sauna client in the first place? Because this is like, to be clear, this is a paying client for a high school project, which is pretty cool.
So I don't know if to call him the sponsor or whatever. I guess that's the term I've been going with. Is he sponsored the project and then got it, of course. But he paid, and we did it really. I don't know. I want to recommend this everywhere you go. For simplicity's sake, we even have it on the school books. I would just buy what we needed. He would just pay me back. That's the type of relationship that existed. Obviously, there's risks associated with that, and I probably won't do that again. But it was a good stepping stone, and I knew, you know what I mean? There was, and so, but the simplicity of it was so nice, you know what I mean? And then the fact that he was, I trust your judgment, was so nice, because then I could raise the ceiling, because instead of saying, well, we can only do framing and siding because of budget, with his trust in my judgment, I could say, well, from a time sake, we're only going to do siding and framing. It's going to be uninsulated. And then all of a sudden, the kids move faster than I think, and I have the option, because this guy was super laid back, to raise the ceiling in the moment, pivot, if you will, in a way, and say, all right, now we're going to insulate these walls a couple different ways, and we're going to cover the different types of insulation that way. You know what I mean? Like, it was just nice to have that kind of either shock absorber or like accelerant flexibility without being married to his image, as far as what he wanted. He trusted my judgment design-wise, and then he trusted my judgment financially. I mean, it was almost blank checkish to a degree. And maybe that was just a unicorn of an experience, but I would really like to replicate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool what you had going. Do you have pictures of it? Is there a place I can find that?
You know, I was trying to upload some to my drive, and I've got all my pictures messed up because of Apple Photos, Google Photos, Yoohoo Photos.
Yeah.
So
that's all right.
Yeah, there's some pictures on uh there's some on my Instagram, but they're probably way back there.
Yeah, they're far back. I got it up, but yeah, I mean the main thing is like it's kind of like what uh Matt Bloomquist does, which it's like a live project, you know. Although you already have a buyer where they don't have a buyer, but it's live. Um, that's a nerve wracking. I don't know if I could do that. That's a lot of pressure right there, you know. He was flexible with deadlines and with budget, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah, and basically what the project even like what the details of the project entailed.
Oh
You know,
wow,
he did.
no
You know,
kidding.
it was like, do you want? I could have been. Do you want gable, gambrel, roof? What type of roof style do you want?
Yeah, yeah,
He had no. He had. If I'd asked him that, he would have just said, "I trust your judgment," which was nice because we ended up doing like just a shed slope roof, in part because I was able to see the capabilities of my students prior to making that decision, and then I could just make that decision. So I could operate based off of like, all right, this is the zone that students need to function in, or this is what students need to learn more about, or here's how much time I can teach, I can prioritize. I wasn't constrained by any other outside. It was nice because I was
that's
able to work with
awesome.
the
Wait, how did you
student
find
really.
that guy originally?
Well, I worked for him over the summer. I did some handyman stuff for
Oh
him, and
wow,
he just got to know me. And then I just told him one day, I was like, I think it'd be cool to do like a mobile sauna out of the school. And he just like got super excited about it, and decided that he was going to sponsor it. And price of lumber went freaking up. No sweat. They didn't worry about it. You know what I mean? They were committed to, and they, even once I handed it to them, they were committed to the idea of offering an opportunity to students. I was like, oh, sorry, things going a little bit over budget. And they're like, we committed to this, and it wasn't about the sauna for them to get it. Even it was about offering an opportunity for students. I mean,
yeah,
it was
that's
really,
cool.
really
That's really
cool.
cool. There should be, I always thought schools should be incubators, so there should be more live opportunities like that. You can't always deliver what you promise, but if there's flexibility, then
Yes,
yeah,
yes, that's the. I agree. It would be
because it's
nicer
not a
because I get.
factory; it's a school.
Yes, right. And I do get stressed, you know what I mean, when somebody wants this for the community and they don't realize how much goes into that decision. For me,
Yeah,
it's how many hours, like who's my best students and what are they capable of?
yeah.
And what time of year is it? And can we get outside or inside or what, you know what I mean? Or what is my shop, how's my shop functioning in? Are 25% of my tools down? No, that's like, we can't, like, it's not, it'd be nice if we were constantly given the constraints of industry. Maybe I don't think it'd be nice. I
I
guess
mean,
that's probably
it's kind of like we like my. I think my goal is to just light the kids' fire for engineering, and then if I
yeah,
could feed it, I can feed it. But like whereas some classes are they don't care if the kid's excited about the topic or not. They just want results. And I'm like, that's more like a factory. That's not really a school. So I think
right.
there's some confusion going on in the school systems. Kirk, you ever do any live projects at all?
There's a few that, like, again, I don't know, other teachers that want things done, and we undertake them. Some of you probably have seen like the bunny bench. It's just basically a bench where, I don't know, you make that if a kid's feeling lonely or new to a district or new to a school, it's a place where they can sit, and then
Oh,
somebody else.
a buddy bench.
A buddy bench, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we made a bunch of them for the neighboring schools, and it again it isn't all that bad, but it is a challenge to build it and then keep the, I don't know, the work ethic a little bit higher than the kids normally would do.
Yeah.
They're always like, that's good enough. I was like, no, 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 no. You can't just do it half-assed. You got to do it right.
Yeah. That's the difficulty. That's why I go to these little competitions. I like what you do. Barbercheck, I don't know if you know, Kirk does these robotic competitions and pretty serious. He actually is the one that. Oh, speaking of trailers, he's got a whole octagon that folds up and is the trailer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Wait, how do I find that again, Kirk? It's on
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And, it's under Marsh 107.
Yeah, you got to see this, man. I know we're jumping around, but
That's all right.
yeah, I want to see. We're talking about trailer projects. Let's see. Sorry, what, Kirk? What is it?
MARSH 107. Keep it together.
Oh my God, I'm trying. Oh, you mean the words?
Yeah, there we go. It's probably one of the latest. The second, I don't know, 1/3 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over.
Here.
Yeah, that'll get you to the build.
Serious. There's like music. Whoa. All right, yeah. Here, check this out. So they, yeah, they're funny. There's like a whole intro. Okay, but here it is. This is it. This thing comes in on a trailer or a cart?
No, it comes in a trailer. Basically, it's just a regular, trailer that it was designed to fit in the trailer. So there is no spare space. It's like Jenga.
But you designed this and built it, or you bought this?
No, we designed and built it.
Holy crap! Yeah, this is like what Barbercheck did. This is like a designed and but the kids helped you design and build this trailer?
Well, not the trailer itself, the actual arena itself.
Yeah. It seems like you got a product on your hands here. I mean, I think other schools would want this.
Well, yeah, it's a little pricey for most schools, and for us, it wasn't too expensive. It was actually, to tell you the truth, pretty cheap. But it's one of those things where there's not that, once you have it, where are you going to put it?
Yeah. Oh, so it fits inside a trailer. It's not an actual trailer that unfolds.
No. It doesn't unfold.
It fits in like a 5x7 trailer.
Well, it fits, I think it's 12 foot long, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. Dual axle or something like that?
Yeah, dual axle. And the only thing that's different is it's like 6'6" instead of 6 foot, which is normal size for most trailers.
Oh yeah, okay. Did Barbercheck, did you have to get a trailer as well, the chassis on the bottom, or someone donated or something?
Well, I did. We bought that, so the whole project came out to about $15,000.
Yeah, but for a sauna, I don't know. It seems. Is that what a sauna costs? I have no idea.
I mean,
a custom built sauna for personally for you. I mean, it's got to be the,
Yeah,
a trailer alone would probably be in the 5,000 range.
Yeah, easily.
I think we got it for 3 to 4, and then we got this super nice sauna stove. This is one of the improvements I want to make. I really would love to get my program, like a visual mental model I give to people when they talk about the growth of my program, is like we should be able to build that sauna, and we should be able to build a trailer as well, like metals, woods, the capability to build a shed, the capability to build a trailer. That's where, and I'm talking infrastructure, power outlets where they need to be, workflow, materials handling. You know what I mean? Like once we're at that limit, that's pretty much carrying capacity of that building at that point. You know what I mean? Like enough is there that you're going to be.
How about a hot tub next time?
Well, maybe.
Then that's fiberglass.
We did some.
Go ahead, Kirk. What are you saying?
Say you have a trailer, you could have a sauna on one half and then the hot tub on the other half. So you have a little door to go between the two. Now that would become a clear behind your car.
Dude, find the sponsor and we'll build it.
Well, maybe draw it out and get people attracted. Maybe that first part. Oh, I know what you could do. well, okay, I hate saying like, "Oh, here's what you should do," but I know what you should. I figured it all out for you, you know. But no, but it would be interesting if you had the kids design like 3 options and you put it on the instant haircut, you know, Instagram.
Yeah,
And they're like, you know, and then have people vote. Just it gets people involved, you know, vote or so, and then it's a contest. It's a contest, and
right.
then you know that gets people involved and excited and stuff like that. You know, that would be pretty cool. Jeez.
So I might take that idea, and what I'm doing like is trying to cycle, and I've been working more on like timing of different things within my curriculum, and
Mhm.
then also aligning more of it. One thing I learned this year is, I was doing, 5 different preps or whatever. And one of the things I was doing was making a bunch of different projects for like middle school, sixth, seventh, eighth, high school, this, high school, that. And during the pandemic, I was forced to simplify because everyone was. And I just gave all of the grades all of the same content. And it works. And it's still challenging slash review for a lot of them. And you can, if you design a project right that has an adjustable floor and ceiling, you just move the ceiling up on the older students. And what that did for my like brain space made it so much more efficient to think like about. I wasn't all over the place. It wasn't CAD, welding, building trades, small engines, and I still had some of that going on at the same time because once I get to a certain point with them, I can open up that those floodgates and it's fine. But getting to that
Your
point,
ramp up was similar.
yeah,
Is that what you mean?
yes, exactly. So we kind of like that's
I do
quarter
this.
4
I agree
is
100%. I do something similar. Uh, my advanced kit. I only have 2 preps. Because I got a double, which took me years of lobbying. I literally had become like a lobbyist, you know, to get a double period. But then my other 3 classes, because you got 5 total, is intro, and it's just the same ramp for everybody. So it's kind of cool because you got a big sample size. So you try something out, you see it works, and where it doesn't work, you trim the fat of your program.
yeah.
And obviously, every year you try and get better. And yeah. So what did you? Yeah, what that's much better, right? What did you think of that scenario? That and so everybody was doing the same thing except you had flexibility, right?
Yeah, I increased the expectations for the older students and then just maybe simplified things. But for the younger students and the other reason that works in my favor too is because I have a lot of the same students like I have my student the students I teach from 6th through 12th grade. That group of students as they move through for me remains 90% consistent.
Oh yeah.
Meaning one student may drop, one student may come back, but that's the most volatility I see. I don't see more than 2 new faces at a time. 2 is a lot. So,
It's like opposite.
yeah,
Opposite worlds. Every
it's
year, there's like it's like imagine if you come up from the subway station in Times Square. It's like
yeah,
just
no, this
new
is yeah,
people everywhere.
total opposite. You're almost to the point like you love the kids, but man, you're like, oh, I'm sick of seeing you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm sick of seeing you too. Like, you just need someone else to see you. but but yeah, it'll be 90% consistent, and so it's hard to keep track of who's done what project, and then all their classes overlap anyways.
Mhm.
And so what
Well,
I
it's
might,
kind of cool because you could do like year 1, year 2, year 3, and still have the same streamlined prep. Hello, however, why did I say hello? I meant to say however, but you still have a ramping thing, and it's like
yeah,
a rotation, maybe 4 or 5 years until you get back to the beginning again, or whatever.
yeah. So it was kind of a silver lining of it all, and be able to like simplify, and I'm more confident in my ability to do that, and then pretty cool.
It does. It does amplify the bad part. I had this one project that was complete crap. Like I had a see the same like a group of kids just totally botch up the project, and then next period, same thing, like super
Oh yeah.
low
I
results, and then another, and I'm like, come on, you could do it. Or sometimes you resort to just pushing the elephant up the hill, and the whole
yeah.
time you're going, there's no way, like this
Yep.
is not the way to do it. I got to rethink this. I'm not doing this next year. But you feel committed. You're like committed. But then
Yeah.
sometimes the best years are where you're like, screw it, okay, and you just let the elephant fall down the hill and start over, and then
Yep.
things go quick. You got to just let go sometimes,
Totally.
I did that
Totally.
during the pandemic. I got about 2 weeks into a project, and I was like, forget it. I was
Yeah.
like, forget everything. I was like, I got to start over with completely new material. you know. So yeah, so that's cool. Wait, how did we get on that? I forgot. I don't even.
Number of
Okay.
preps.
Number of preps. The sauna.
Yes.
Oh, so the design of the sauna, hot tub, baby.
Hot tub.
Hot tub sauna time machine.
Only issue with hot tub would be how do you get the water in the hot tub? You can't drive around with a full hot tub. That first time you break or try to turn quick, all that water's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. So what are you going to do about the next project? Is that the designing of it, right?
Yeah. So I could like start like whatever next year's, and this is where I wish like really this should be like an entire project manager's job is like doing this like work for me. Like I just show up and teach the project. But what I was thinking is if I could get next year locked in somebody doing like Sauna 2.0, that would be cool. And then I could do with my CAD students more of what you're talking about, where it's like, okay, you're going to start the next year's project, to start designing it. So I got a group of students a year ahead designing next year's.
Oh, I know what you were saying. You said that you want to be able to handle the wood framing, the finishing,
Yes.
the metal trailer, somehow small engines, although mechanics, you could deal with the brakes if it has them. I don't know if you, I'm not a, I don't have I don't have trailer experience. So does yours have brakes or no?
The one that we put the sound on did, yes.
Oh, really? Okay. So there you go. And then
But we can change
also
it.
you could have a generator on there. So that's small engines. It could have a battery for backup. You could put a solar panel on it. You really could get crazy.
Totally.
And then the heating. How are you going to
It's the
heat
nice
it?
thing about that flexibility. Like, if you got a flexible client whose true interest is just a good opportunity for the students, and then all of a sudden you get like a bunch of like insecure students, but they happen to be hooked on alternative energies for some odd reason, or it interests them more than building science or like
Yeah.
wiring. Like, I can skip the wiring. Like I can, or I'll do a very basic like if you're a flexible client and I realize like my kids aren't into that, but they are more into solar, like alternative energies and incorporating that, and then I'll get them into wiring as much as I can from that. You know what I mean? But it just gives you like it's so cool to have that freedom as a teacher to be like, okay, these kids are into this. I'm gonna prioritize that on the build, and my client's gonna not care.
Yeah. Look at this one. This is it. It's a tiny home
Yeah.
with a hot tub.
See, like that. You could ask me, hey, can you build that next year? And the problem is, because my student population is so small, it's so volatile. It's like, you asked me if I can't answer you until I see who's in my class.
Oh my God, I know what you mean. You know what's
Like
interesting about the? Sorry, go ahead. What?
that's what I was saying.
No, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you mean. You know what's interesting about the trailer is that your client does not have to be at the location. So like,
Yes.
like Matt Bloomquist is sort of, it's just amazing that that district embraces it. So the town or the school, they actually put up the money for the land, for the house that they build every year. But if you need money to come from outside your town, you put the thing on wheels.
Yeah.
You know? So things on wheels are pretty good. And tiny homes are really popular right now. Have you considered a tiny home?
Yeah, it's just hesitation, because if I design it based off what my students can do,
Oh,
then I might not be able to sell it.
mm.
Or if I do have to sell it, I have to do the burden of marketing it and finding a buyer and advertising it. You know what I mean? And I guess I have this fear of building a product, and this has happened, to sell, and then it just never sells. You know what I mean?
No, you'd have to have a buyer ahead of time. I
Yeah, like,
agree.
we have a construction class at school, and we used to build sheds. But that was the problem, is getting the sheds off the property.
Yeah.
Now we have the school with a bunch of sheds on site. They even poured concrete pads for them so they weren't sitting on the grass. But that's the thing. Nobody wants to trailer a shed anymore. So now they've been getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now the kids are making like chicken coops, dog houses. They did like one of those small libraries, those outdoor libraries.
Oh
Where
yeah, I
you
know
put
those.
books in, you take a couple books out. So it's just been smaller projects. Just for that reason, can't find people. You can. It's nice building it. Kids learn a lot,
Yeah.
but it's getting rid of them when they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what
And it's-
about you could also do a food truck, which is interesting because, I mean, a trailer, because there's so many details. Like you have to build the structure, but then you also have to worry about heating and cooling and food management, sink. It's very mechanical. In fact, that would be a very challenging. I don't know how challenging you want it to be. Oh, you need a project with flexibility, like
that's what I'm
like you
saying.
said.
To have that unicorn of a client, it's just really
Yeah.
nice, because then you can honestly operate within the capabilities of your students and hit
And
their
what if you
goals
made
off.
it modular? So you make a piece. You're making pieces. So
I
it's
think
like,
I think I'm gonna have to do more of that next year, just
look at this
because
crazy thing.
one thing I did learn is once we got on the inside, it's really tough to get a bunch of students, even without social distancing, which we had to, but you
Just
can only delegate so many students to work inside of 100 square foot,
what if it's modular? You put all the little cubes together, and each cube represents a space. I don't even know what I'm looking at here. It's the Alibaba. You can you can you can buy some sort of glass cube like this thing. So it's modular, something like that, and then not really this full built thing. What I don't know. Oh, dude, yeah, you got this crazy mobile. What is this? All right, these people are officially crazy. Look at this. It's a cube with glass. This is and I've seen these at the airport. It's like you can go inside, you could get work done. Or it's like a quiet space, they call it.
I thought that was a smoking section.
Oh, and that too. There's a couple of old school people in here. Kirk was talking about the buddy bench, and it's not my fault. I grew up in the '90s in Jersey, so the first thing I think of is that's where we go to kick someone's ass. Like, I don't know. I'm messed up. I'm messed up. Like, if someone was sat on the buddy bench, that kid would get his ass kicked.
Times have changed.
It's the opposite. You should be nice to people. Yeah, like I came from. We had a smoking section. Now they got buddy benches, and no one's allowed to smoke cigarettes. It's just a different world, you know. And I like the world we're in now. I mean, it was a little crazy when I was a kid. It was like nuts, you know. But you know, you make it through. It's crazy. Uh, anyway, I played basketball. Luckily, otherwise I would have got my ass kicked. That's what kept me safe. You play basketball with the seniors, and then they like you. It's funny. Geez, mobile saunas to buddy benches to smoking sections. It's a wild one tonight. I'll tell you what, these are cool. Look at these. These are awesome, man. But a lot of work, you know. Um, so you don't have like any like what would be all right. So looking back on this project, what would be your advice to yourself from 2 years ago?
Oh, well,
Yeah, what do you got for us? We want to learn from Obi-Wan Kenobi. And if you got pictures, that would be great.
maybe I'll just show them this way. What advice would I give my
Yeah,
kids
that's more
2 years
important
ago,
than the picture.
knowing what I know now? I would say don't stress about the client so much because I was really stressed about that. Like, just build it
Yeah.
because he's got the student's best interests in mind. And then even if they don't, like, you've never overpromised any of this, so you cannot function with the student's best interests in mind.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I'd say like go with the build, probably go with published plans because
Oh yeah.
I kind of made it up as I went, and like literally I would sometimes draw up the floor assembly or the wall assembly like during my prep that day, and then I would print it off and hand it to the students, be like, this is the build that you're doing today, you know, and it was good for like building a skill set of high pressure decision making, but it was bad, you know, that a lot of decisions were kind of being made reactively or in a crisis mode situation, you know, and so I would say just go with published plans to start, even though you really don't want to. Like I really enjoy getting the kids in on the design process, letting them see me like design it that day and build it to them that day. Like that's a cool thing for them to see. But
I got it. I'll be right there.
got it. But for like sanity's sake, you know, you've got to be able to simplify some of that stuff. And so yeah, I would totally just say go with published plans and then make your own tweaks and make your own improvements instead of trying to design this plane as you fly it. That's problematic. Dope, you're muted, Duke.
How many kids do you teach?
Well, so that's the thing. When that group started, it was about 12 students, 12 to 13. And that was a good size class because it's not too big, not too small. And they were in there for 2 hours. So we were able to be pretty productive. And it
All
was,
grades?
that was grades 9 through 12.
Right.
And they typically kept ninth graders out of there. They kind of marketed it as like an advanced shop, but then they would let ninth graders in. And it was kind of cool because I could tell the students, like, you guys were hand selected for this first cohort. You know what I mean? Or like, you guys were like, we made it a thing of prestige. And that was cool. And that you could tell the kids felt it. Like, I got the 2 hour block in this building. You know what I mean? Like, there was some prestige that came with it, and so that was cool. But then of course the pandemic happened, and so the students were always asking about it, and we couldn't do too much. Um, so then at that point, I was pretty much teaching no students, as you know. I mean, overall, middle school to high school, I teach like 45 students. Um, And then
Did you ever think about doing like a multi-year project with them?
yeah, that's kind of where the trailer and sauna thing would go. Would be we're gonna build the trailer this year and then build
Yeah.
the sauna next year. Um, I have to have some resolution on a project a little bit in a smaller time window, just personal preference. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
the idea of like a 3-year project sounds like I'll just get sick of it. The students will get sick of it, whatever else. But I'm not against the idea of like cycling different groups of students through
Yeah.
different stages for 3 years of the same project, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If they know they have a starting point and they also know what the ending point is, and they know that they're going to be building the base of the trailer, that gives them some like ownership. And then the next group's going to build the framework, and then the last group's going to have electronics and the mechanics and the finishing details.
Sure.
Then they all can take ownership in there. But if you try to do it like haphazardly all the way through, then they're like, I'll be graduated in a sophomore in college by the time you get done. I'm out of it.
They lose interest. I wish there was a little bit more attention provided for that in teacher school or something. Like, these are good windows of time to run a unit, because and times a year, like, it shouldn't have taken me, someone should have told me this, I feel like, before I went into education, but like in the first 3 weeks of the first 3 quarters of the year, you know what I mean? You're going to run different length units because you're building a culture, and it's going to take a while to build that culture to get to this length of unit. You know what I mean? Like, there's a strategy to, hey, right before finals, like, you need to start compressing your units and being strategic about how many assignments you're assigning, because you're not only the kids going to have a stress point here, you're going to have a stress point for getting grades in. You know what I mean? Like if you assign a bunch of stuff right before the quarter ends and all of a sudden everything's flooding in. So I just can't believe like no one ever like really, maybe I should have just known it, but I was like, man, there's a decent strategy to be had for knowing how long of a unit will keep kids interested, how long of a unit will keep you interested as a teacher, and then what time of year and how that affects your pacing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Can you pull it together in your classroom? Do you have a space for a trailer in your shop area?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that Upper Michigan in the middle of winter isn't really a place where you want to go out and work.
Yeah, we had that. That needed to be a whole unit. How to dress for cold weather clothing.
Oh my God!
How many kids show up with shorts?
Well, you know what I did was I used it as a little bit of a motivator. Like, if we get the shell built, we'll install the stove right away, and you guys can burn scrap wood. You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately, with the pandemic, that threw that timeline out the window. But they were hoofing to get the shell done before snow, for that reason. So, but then again, I would have ran into the problem of too many people being in the small space, and I would have had to figure out around that. But again, that's another constraint that like your average Joe just doesn't realize you have to think about, is also like, I might design my next one, I was thinking, with more door openings than necessary, just because it makes it easier to navigate with a herd of people. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like one of those constraints that like may not be logical for, I guess, product for profitability. But if you're looking at it through purely the lens of what's best for instruction and going to enable me to empower as many students as possible by being able to pinball this or change this, man, that'd be nice.
Guess what I have here?
Oh my gosh!
I never opened it yet. This is Barbercheck's has a whole website where the products that they make in the classroom are for sale for the school, the class economy. It's a class. Goes back into the classroom, right? Do we wait to open this? You got sauna pictures before I open this or not?
You keep asking for that. All right, let me.
This is anticipation. We don't have to open it yet. What's up, Matt? He's getting all set up. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like I did that project with the students, the electric car, and when you anytime you do R&D where there's design work, oh my God, that is the biggest time-consuming thing. You know, Matt, how do you handle the design of the house? Are you there? Okay, he's just putting in
microphone.
Yeah, he's putting the mic in. Yeah.
There you Does that get better?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first house, I designed it completely. Because they're like, hey, you're building a house, and all right, well, we had to figure out a design, and I designed it. The second one, when the pandemic hit, Steve Basic, the architect, he offered to jump on and do a Google Meet with my students and talk about design basics and stuff like floor plans and layouts and energy efficiency and stuff. And so he had the kids actually like draw up their floor plans and submit them, and then he critiqued them, which was great because when we, in March, 2 Marches ago now, when we were all scrambling to figure out what we're going to do with our students, he filled up like 2 weeks worth of class for me. So, and then we took that, and then he provided us with a floor plan on that one. So, but we didn't really do house design with the students like they do the full design, just because, I mean, that takes kind of, I mean, I'm not saying a student couldn't get lucky and do a design, or at least they could, I mean, the best I would think they would come up with would be like the concept or design concept or idea or theme, like to ask a student that has no true design, because we don't have any design courses at school. So that's a tall order when it comes to a house.
It's too tough. The design work is really hard. That's why scale, when it comes to design, tiny projects or like what's really successful in the colleges is the Baja SAE, because it's a go-kart. And the college kids have a whole year to do it, and they got all the shop and materials. But then like at a high school level, man, maybe a bicycle, maybe. But when I did the electric car, I got super lucky. I had 5 kids that were all super into it, and I thought that was the norm. And then I realized that I just had like a crazy all-star year.
That was year 1 with the house build for me. This year though, not so much.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy too and unfortunate about what you just said with the Baja, college can do the Baja, but high school you can do a bicycle. People hear that and they think, oh, makes sense because high schoolers should be dumber than college students. But
no,
that's not the case at all.
No.
It's time. It's all the red tape and barriers that adults have put up, not the kids' limited potential.
Point. Yeah, good point.
And so it's just, people hear that and that's what they automatically default to. And it's like, no, it's not because they have any less potential than college students. In fact, by the time you're 16, whatever, it's almost all equal. It's just the fact that I have to operate on this stupid alarm system you guys have set going off every hour.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. I can't stand those things. We used to talk about this all the time. Alarm system. It's crazy. But so, yeah, I would agree. And, to be fair, that way it sounded was that I meant that, the high school kids can't do it. But you're 100% right. It's that.
No, I knew you did not mean.
No, I know. That's why I'm glad you clarified. Exactly. But imagine like, yeah, like I basically didn't leave. It was like it was no. I literally didn't leave the school, so the kids didn't either. We had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we just never left. And so we would like janitors would kick us out at 11:30, and then that was to me that was I was ecstatic. Now, if I'm there past an hour or two, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, you know? Oh, cool! There it is.
Yeah, I took these today, so I just now uploaded them to Instagram.
Oh, nice.
So this is the changing room. This is your candle window, and then I gave them like little projects that we've built throughout the year.
It's really well done.
And so there's, looking up. We put in. This is like one of those areas again. It's nice to be able to flex. Like if I had kids really into wiring, or God forbid, like smart automation or anything else, like we could have really made the electrical much more complex. Speakers, whatever, you know what I mean? But due to time constraints and what else, I was able to decide freely, hey, we're just going to do basic electrical access, and that's all we got time for. And a kid who was into residential wiring came in during the summer to wrap that up for me. Plumbing the same way. We could have turned this into an elegant shower system. And if I had the time, I probably know which student I would pick to headstone that on. But I was able to decide, we don't have the time. I didn't overpromise it, and the client was open one way or the other. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's see here. So that's kind of same room, but looking backwards now. And then we're getting into the hot room here. This one was hard to photograph. This is our heat shielding. It's a wood-fired sauna. The stove is
amazing.
Nice. And so that's the stove. This is a really nice stove. We got this like little viewing window you could see in, and that was something too. We could definitely build our own stove, and someday I'd like to get to that point, probably before we get to trailers. But it was nice to be able to decide I'm not gonna do this, and I was able to pick out, instead of like having somebody like donate their trash stove that I would have to like re-weld possibly or re-maintenance or whatever. I was just able to pick out one that like I knew would work, and I love that stove. I used the sauna a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there it is leaving.
Yeah, there it goes. Down
Wow.
the road.
On the road again. That's awesome. Look at it. It's gone. It's leaving.
So is the homeowner or the trailer owner, just like pumped and excited about it all then, or?
Yeah, I felt awful for him because he was really all about offering the kids this opportunity. Like, and I got him on the phone with my entire class one day, and they just asked him questions, and he asked them questions, and it was, again, his number one desire was just to provide a cool opportunity for students. The fact that it was a sauna was like a bonus for him, and so, and I kind of ranted to a degree about this on my Instagram stories. I tried to do a kind of event of it all, of me handing him the keys, and I think it was a perfect storm of events. And so I don't fault my kids too much, but it doesn't deny the fact that like the situation was full of annoyance, of the fact that like none of my students were able to show up, or they, like, I planned the event around basically my quarterback and wide receiver of the build, and then they changed their plans, gave me like less than 12 hours notice right before like we had to hand the keys over, and there were still things to wrap up and everything else. And I think that was a situation that was somewhat out of their control, and I wouldn't want to like play judge one way or the other anyways, but it was just like a shock for me, and like a little bit of, like, of a nuisance to a degree. And so John didn't get to interact. He interacted with one student. I was able to get one student for him to interact with, but I felt awful because I was like, man, I should have done a better job of planning this, tying it with graduation, or like being ahead of schedule, so that you could actually interact with the students or brought you in during the so that's something I would go back and tell 2-year-old me is if this client's truly prioritizing student relationships, do what you can to make sure that he's able to have some contact between students. You know what I mean? The people he's providing this opportunity for.
Yeah, like, okay, so I know exactly what you mean. It's a little bit like herding cats when you
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, when there's not a external deadline, it's a
Yes.
self-imposed internal deadline, and that's a difficult one to do. So, that's why I really like contests lately because contest has an external deadline and they show up or they don't. Like I'm sure Kirk can relate. Like if you go to a robotic competition, you're either participating or not. Whereas if you had an internal robotics competition, they know they could just push the deadline because you're the one making the deadline. So they could just be like, whatever. I guess it was external because the client was showing up, but I mean, for kids is like it's a difficult thing to judge because maybe they're motivated to participate because they like you as a teacher, or maybe they're motivated to participate because they like the idea of learning the skill. And these are two different things, It's like, and then
Sure.
maybe they're motivated to participate because they want to have a career. So it's like
Yeah.
no
And
idea where they're at.
even if all things being equal, like even if all that was equal motivation wise, the communication is tough with
Yeah.
when you've got like for me to get a hold of my students. I don't know how active you guys try and do that. I know that this kid's more responsive on Snapchat, that kid's more responsive on Instagram, this person's more, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
they're all over the place.
Oh my God,
And
Snapchat. Is that
they
still a
just
thing?
oh yeah, and
Oh, I missed out.
you're
I
just
thought I missed that one.
mumbling, and they're just their response. You know what I mean? You feel like you're freaking trying to like put on a marketing hat for like, oh, what's in how am I gonna get my call to action to get bit by my students? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
When
you're
I
trying to,
email a kid and he actually responds, I'm like, holy cow.
right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And it might. I think it's just a different etiquette for them. Like to them, it's like, hey, it's summer break. This is community service. I define that on my own terms, and I did go ahead and decide this. I would tell 2-year-old me 2 years ago me this as well. If you do get a student who says they want to come in outside of school time, earn community service, then if they don't show up, you don't agree to ever do it again. And it's nothing personal. It's just consequence. Hey, because I did learn this year. My students have to do community service to graduate. And some of them think that they are offering way more of a service than they are. Like kids ask if they can do community service in the shop, and they don't realize that means that I'm doing community service that day as well. Right?
Yeah.
Like and that I might have moved an entire freaking lathe to make up a project for you to do as community service. Like I don't need this done. This isn't, you know what I mean? Like, or I might have had to made you pick a project that's really low on my priority list, but happens to be in your skill level. Like, but I don't need this to be done. And I've gotten some of that, and it was just enough to like almost get me to turn it off completely. But I just decided, no, you don't show up. That's the consequence. And the reason is, if you're doing community service, technically, I am too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Geez, yeah, it's like it's hard. Volunteer labor. Sometimes you're like, yeah, it's actually more work if you're here. What? Yeah,
That's true.
geez, oh my
Forgot
God,
about that.
Matt, what do you do about your final presentation? Like, let's say, do they sell the house and then hand the keys over and have a celebration, or do the kids disappear at the end?
Well, so kind of like what Matt was talking about. My original plan was to throw almost like a block party. and some of the people who like companies like Rockwool and Huber and those guys who had donated, and Jake and Travis and these guys who the builders I've gotten to know on Instagram that are here in the Midwest. Like we bring all them in. We're going to bring the lumberyard in. Let them have bring in their vendors, block off our little block or street or whatever, and do an open house, a whole shindig thing. Dan from Rockwool, he was going to come and he was going to cook out for the kids and all that. So we were kind of gearing up for all that. And then of course, pandemic hit, and then it just screwed everything up. And so I'm hoping to do something like that again next year, but same thing with Barbercheck, man. It's like, I'm hoping to so now I'm going to bring back the kids and do a special open house for the kids who started the house that didn't get to finish it, and their families and stuff. And I should get a pretty good turnout for that. But, originally you're like, oh, the first open house, we should have some of the students there and this and that. But now I'm just like, here's the keys, realtor. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm going 100 billion ways now this summer with kids, and my own kids, and like Barbercheck said, trying to wrangle in, and really, to be honest, you only want about 4 of them there anyway, right?
Yeah.
The other 20.
Right. You don't put out a huge call to action because you want your certain 4. So, but then it's really tough because you want 4 to show up, you got to send out 20 notifications, but then out of the 20, you might not get the 4 you want.
Exactly.
The 4 that do show up are the ones that didn't do anything and broadcast that they did everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had one kid that he ended up being on like a newscast because they were doing a highlight last year at the beginning of the year. And like one of the kids that was talking is like talking about all this stuff. And he did a great job. I was like, dude, you got so much credit for nothing. Good for you. And you talked a good game. So you did what you had to do for, as far as being a good public presentation. But like if you came and asked me, oh, so-and-so, I saw him on news, he did a lot. But like, no. But he talked like the other kids that did a lot should have talked. So but no, I'm in Barbercheck's boat. It's he had this kind of grandioso thing planned and hoping for, and it's just going to be like, dude, the keys are in the drop box. Whenever you guys go to stick the sign in the yard, have at it. It'll be a little bit bigger than that, but not much. We'll do something special for the school board and staff. We'll do an open house before the public, and then I don't know. Maybe I can pull off like a small open house where at least I'm there, kind of helping talk about things to the public. Because I get a lot of people asking just because they want to come see it and stuff. So I don't know. I may just put out a.
Hey, you got to do a Matterport for us.
Yeah, I will as soon as we get all the stuff cleared out. Possibly even next week. I'm hoping to do the Matterport.
I would love to, you can, if you want, do a Matterport and then do a tour on here for us. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I feel like that thing's like super underrated, and we were excited about it, but I really haven't seen it prevalent everywhere yet. But for some, how come we don't Matterport everything? Like our shops, our even stores, or what, everything should be Matterported. Subway systems, whatever.
Well, like big companies, they do. Now it's not, they don't use Matterport. They use an even higher tech system, and they use a laser scanner that's like $30,000.
Oh, I see.
So like the big companies, but one of the I don't know if it was BS&B or one of the shows that aired, or podcast or something else, building ones, they're talking about that, how scanning or using the Matterport or whatever, like throughout the build process, just for documentation and proof and insurance. Like, say, something went wrong. No, I did that. Here, look. So it's one of those things where companies are doing the 3D dimensioning and stuff, for the sake of, well, covering your ass pretty much.
Oh
Company.
man,
So it's becoming a big thing.
Matterported it before you gave it away.
I did.
Oh, get out of
Yeah.
here! Really?
Yeah, it needs to upload, and I have to like refigure my login credentials and
Okay.
everything else. So I did Matterport it before it left. So
No way, dude. Give us a
Yeah.
tour. You can't do it now, right?
No, it's not uploaded or nothing.
All right, all right.
I got the pictures. Like I got that much of the file.
Dude, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Barberheck, next build, you should have your accessories 3D printed. So you can have Ford Maverick, I heard, just did this. But there's not that many details. But like the cup holders and stuff, you can design your own size. Like you have a mug that you like, you can design a cup holder for the accessory slot on the Ford Maverick. Now that Ford Maverick's like Ford's first hybrid pickup truck. And there aren't many details, but you know, if you need like in the sauna, you know, maybe like a towel holders or like certain towel racks. If there's like 3 people that use a sauna or 4, you can, you know, design a 4-rack system or a 3-rack system, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to really, and this for the interest of like just being able to visualize what I'm working on. It's much easier if I make like a 3D printing assignment related to the sauna, because then I'm not like trying to keep track of like, okay, CAD is doing a water bottle design, my high school shop is doing a chessboard, and then my middle school shop is doing, you know what I mean? Instead, what I can do is like I just visualize the sauna space and I can see the towel rack. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I reached the same objectives. I've saved some warehouse space in my brain, and it's easier for me to visualize, you know. So yeah, I think as much of that alignment as that can happen, the better. And there's a lot of potential accessories we could 3D print. You're right.
Dude, it's cool. You know, it's funny. I have thought about having all the skills headed towards a project. So you got your soft, you know, your soft skills, then your, well, not soft skills, but like your drawing skills, like little skills, then bigger projects, but they all fit, like you said. So if somebody's 3D printing something small like a cup holder, but it's going in the sauna, everybody's headed in the same direction, and you get a lot of participation. That would take a lot of planning, though, and I just haven't done that. So that would be a pretty cool thing. I guess it's kind of what, Matt, do you have like training classes that lead up to your on-site classes, or it's just all on-site and then some kids are doing basic stuff? Like, how do you lead up to that?
So the kids take intro to industry, or they can take, I think one of the ag classes we let count too, one of the ag mechanical classes. But so intro to industry, they'll learn basics, tool recognition, material recognition. When I taught it, I got into a little bit of blueprint reading even. But and they had a little bit of shop work and stuff. Now, and they also, the teacher teaching now has also turned it a lot into like problem solving skills and stuff, which is great because, I mean, knowing how to build a house is one thing, but being able to problem solve will help you out in everything. So, so they'll get a little bit of basics and hands-on and stuff. Now, we started a woodworking class. So that way, because a lot of kids will take that intro class as freshmen. Well, they won't get into the building trades until junior year. So they've been off for a year. So we started a woodworking class to try to get that. You have to take intro to industry. And then we're encouraging the kids that want to take building trades to take the woodworking class just to have their hands on the tools and doing things, you know, measuring, you know, reading tape measure and all that stuff. So they do have a little bit of a very basic knowledge stuff. Now, what I'm going to do this year is kind of piggybacking off of Barbercheck's, app idea he's, been working on or whatever, with the idea of learning these skills. Like I've been breaking down like tasks that we're going to be doing, whether it's plumbing, framing, whatever, like, okay, like get certified on the miter saw, get certified using the nail gun. Can you not only nail 3 nails straight, can you do toenails with the nail gun? Learning, I realized learning all these little tricks and stuff that, I take for granted because I've been doing it for so long, I forget about. That's something we have to actually do. Like using like every Friday or something, like kids can say, okay, I want to test out on this tool or whatever. Or I know plumbing wise is coming up, so I want you guys to go and like, I'll make like a 3D model, make this out of plumbing pieces. It may not be an actual plumbing functional piece, but they can take these 90s, 45s, 30s, glue them all together, and it looks just like that picture kind of thing, or that model or something. So I'm going to do that more because this year, and I mean, granted, I know COVID scheduling made everything kind of wonky, but it just showed how much easier everything would have been if they had a little bit more basic knowledge and a little bit more practice, and how much easier that's going to be on me. Because if you can measure, cut, and do something, you could I could put you at every point. Like, okay, if you can measure, cut, and do this on wood, well, you can do it on PVC piping. So now you can technically do plumbing, right? Yeah, you got some different rules you got to follow, but the skills are all the same. It's just the material's a little different, and maybe you're just using a different thing to cut with, right? So that's one thing I really want to focus on with like the skills this year with those guys. And like I said, this all kind of came from Barbercheck's big idea and stuff, like kind of playing off of that. So I am going to do that more. The other thing I was going to do when you guys are talking about 3D modeling and all that, I'm making an actual digital twin of the house.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And when I mean digital twin, I mean there'll be a piece of paper that has a 3D, I mean, it'll be two, on paper, but a 3D model rendered that shows wires, plumbing, everything going on this wall. Like every wall will have, and now granted, I could put measurements in there, but it may be slightly off once you get into the field from the plan, but they'll know, oh, there should be 3 wires going through this wall, or there should be a wire goes all the way across this wall, but for some reason we're only stopped halfway because maybe we didn't go from that wire, from that box to the lead out to the next one. Plumbing, they'll know how many fittings to get and stuff. That's also for me too, because I go to the hardware store, buy all the plumbing fittings, and then I'm too short always. But the idea is to build every single wall digitally, and so that way the kids actually have this thing, because I also kind of take for granted that I know exactly what this thing looks like. Every step of the way, I know what this looks like. Just like you're working on an engine or whatever. Like some way for me, I'd have to have a picture of everything that belongs in an engine because I don't know, right? Well, same with the kids. Like, hey, just go throw those studs in the wall, put some blocking across the cabinets, and get it done, right? You know how to cut a nail. Well, they don't know. Blocking to them, that may not register yet, even though I may have showed them a picture or maybe a quick video. But if they always have that picture right there in front of them, and that 3, and maybe different images and stuff, it'll help with their print reading skills, I think. And also they can, I could build anything just like Legos, right? Legos got this mastered. They give you a pamphlet that unfolds and block by block, piece by piece, shows you how it goes together. And at the end, it looks like this picture, or it doesn't, right? And if it doesn't, something's wrong and you got to go back, right? So it's kind of the same idea. Like when your wall is built, this should look like this. There should be holes here. There should be wires going through the hole. There should be plumbing coming through. Okay. The hole should be 3 inches or 2.5 or whatever. So that is one thing. I know it's a little bit more work on my end, but I think it's going to pay off big in the scheme of productivity in the house building. And I think it'll take a little bit more of my time away from the kids on the job site, where I don't have to be there at their shoulder getting, hey, Mr. Bloomquist, Mr. Bloomquist, Mr. Bloomquist. I can just be like, Does it look like the picture? No. Okay. Now, what doesn't look like the picture? Okay, you forgot to run this wire, or we didn't get this blocking put in. So, like I said, I think it's something. A little bit time on my front end on the planning side, I think will pay off big on the inside, and I think it'll just help them understand and learn better too. I think on the student side of things, I think it'll be very nice and convenient.
Awesome. No, 100%. I was speaking about a similar idea recently to a Microsoft employee was on a conference call, okay? And I said, hey, the guy on the other side of the room is welding. He's got his mask down. And I'm on this side of the room checking out the hybrid. And I got a couple of kids over here. I wish I could see what he's welding and then type some instructions or just talk through his helmet, And the guy's like, and the guy goes, you can. It's called a HoloLens. And I go, wait, what? And he said that there's a product on the market that has augmented reality, which means it's not virtual reality, it's augmented. Now, this is extreme to what you're talking about, okay? So, like, what you're talking about is a practical level. You designed it, and then you put the paper, right?
You can do that with SketchUp, what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you buy like these $700 glasses, and you could literally be in your house, and you can put up, like, you could have drawn in, say, like you're doing duct work that was going to be exposed in the house or whatever in the building, right? You could go in and you could see that. You could see it in front of you in your
so this is the same
space.
thing.
Yeah, you can do that with There's a SketchUp something that,
Really?
that does that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. The glasses are like $700 a piece.
These are $3,000.
Yeah, this looks way beyond it, even more than what I was.
SketchUp
but yeah,
glasses.
I forget what the heck they're called. It's something with it works with SketchUp. And as soon as you said that, whatever the H word,
For glasses, 3D eyeglasses.
What the heck
Google
were those
SketchUp,
things?
right?
No, actually, Google sold it to Trimble.
Oh,
is that right, Trimble? Gosh, what the heck was those things?
Okay. While you're trying to find them, I'm going to show this.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, obviously, this to me looks silly. It's like, just, you don't need 3D glasses for this or whatever augmented reality. However, what is kind of cool, I guess I don't really know this website too well to find the example I want to give, but just imagine. So you go to turn a wrench on the engine, and there's an arrow or a diagram of the engine overlaid on what you're doing. So, and some expert, like, you could have a retired engineer on the couch talking to a young engineer in the field and be like, all right, look, just put this, and then the arrow.
It's like an Iron Man suit.
Total, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. It's a heads-up display. It's an Iron Man heads-up display. This sounds crazy. Like, nah, it's not going to happen. It's on the market, and it's happening. And it would be crazy for our industry. Because think about it. This is exactly what you're saying, Matt. You wish they had X-ray vision and of future plans. Put this here. Turn this.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. It's the same thing. Whatever. Yeah.
HoloLens.
Yeah, HoloLens. These are $5,000.
Yeah,
but there is
$3,000.
But
it's worth it. But what's the name? How do I find it?
Here, I can share if you let me share real fast.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Since I got it right here.
It's amazing how high tech our area is. It's unbelievable. Trimble. You know what's ironic? I'll tell you something funny. is Trimble came out with these, but Google Glasses failed, and Google owned SketchUp.
The Trimble XR10 with hollow.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You want me to play it?
Yeah, totally. Let's see it.
Lens 2 utilizes mixed reality technology to take your 3D content off the screen and into the real world, precisely conveying the work to be done to every stakeholder on the project, ensuring that your projects come in on time and in budget. Integrated into an industry-standard hard hat, the XR10 is a purpose-built device that includes a...
Okay, let's just hit pause for just a second. Here's, I think, one of the problems with the marketing and functionality of these things. The first thing they do is always show a guy standing there using his hands like this. Okay, that's great and all, but like, I think more important is the overlay of the actual job. I mean, if you stand there on a job like this, you're going to get smacked in the face by a board swinging by. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just stand there. We already got people looking in their phones. I'm one of them. I almost walked into somebody today. You know, like, you can't have that. So what they really need is show us how it works on the job, not just the guy standing at the job site, right? Like an idiot, you know?
See, now the first video I ever saw of these, and like I said, they were cheaper versions of this, but that's what they were doing. Like they were, and maybe there, I mean, there's still more.
It's probably coming up.
Video.
They always start these videos with the worst example.
Yeah, but now that whole to-do list thing, the other ones I saw never had that option. Now, like I said, I was looking at these like 3 years ago, but
wow. Okay.
Flip-up lens for clear vision, an intuitive user interface, and job site certifications for safe on-site use.
There you go.
Perform immersive pre-construction walkthroughs in the 3D coordinated model with local and remote stakeholders to clarify design intent. Visualize the design overlaid with the context of the as-built building elements, even those behind walls and beneath floors. With Trimble Connect for HoloLens, contractors can detect clashes, measure, create to-dos, and track issues on site and in the shared model. Enhance communication, optimize coordination, increase confidence, and reduce downtime with the Trimble XR10 and Trimble Connect for HoloLens.
Awesome. That is, it's here. It's here.
The future is now.
I'm going to try and order one for the school.
Yeah, I know. Once I get some other stuff bought, whenever I get a...
What?
That should 100% be in the education sector. Like, and it will be the last to receive it probably, which sucks, but
yeah,
it should be the first if you think about it.
Totally.
That's like students with disabilities, totally future-proofing them, totally an awesome way to clone teachers, you know, during a teacher shortage. That might be helpful.
I mean, just think if I had the kids and so we have the exterior, the shell's all done. We're moved inside. We're getting ready to frame up our interior walls, run a lecture. And I say, all right, everybody, because the glasses I was looking at were like $700 and they weren't like a full, they weren't quite as crazy looking as that. And I'd reached out to them. I could get them like at an education discount, but they're still pretty expensive. But just think if you could say, for me, 15 kids, dozen kids, whatever's in the class, you'll throw on your glasses and I walk you through every single wall and you're looking at it. It's not there, but you're looking at it. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, man, Barberheck. I'm gonna have to try to find the cheaper ones and see what grants pop throughout the year, because that could be
I have a contact.
Very cool at the very least.
I have a contact at Microsoft. This guy really wants to help me out, and I'm going to try and order one. But really, what he should do is send one to me, and then I'll try it for a semester, and then I'll send it to you guys. Like, why don't we just share it? I don't care. This way, he gets, like, I don't need it the whole time. I just want to try it out and try it with some kids and see if it works. And if it works, sure, then we'll order one. They should send us they should lend it to us.
Yeah. Because for me,
lend it to this group, the lens.
Yeah, for me, if I had it for like 1 week at a certain time during the build would be ideal. Any other time would be some. I mean, there'd be a couple random times that'd be cool, but like when we go inside to start building everything inside, like I said,
Plus,
my whole purpose of the digital twin.
yeah. Plus, I need ideas. So, like for instance, if I get it and I can't figure out how to use it properly, then it's a waste on me. But if I get it and I try it for, let's say, a month, and I try a couple things and I show you guys what I tried, and then you guys try something, we might be able to bounce enough ideas that it works. Because I always have this idea. I got this new concept that 1 + 1 actually equals 3, and the way and the way that works is like, you're not going to come up with like a really good idea on your own. You might maybe, but if you bounce ideas, you came up with an idea that to one maybe, but together you came up with this third idea that never existed before.
None
So
of
we
us can
kinda
be as smart as we are collectively.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of cool. All right, that's pretty cool. No, okay. So let's switch a little bit. And speaking of like projects and whatnot, Barbercheck, what is are we talking about this? What is capable
Yeah.
maker?
So this is what I have developed out so far. You guys are welcome to create an account and hop on it. This would be, I guess you could
Shut
consider.
up! This is it,
Yeah,
dude. I didn't. That's a surprise tonight. I didn't know we were getting a test drive.
Yeah, I didn't really either, but I got to start batching it out. So here we go.
All right, so let me just give people kind of an intro of what's going on here. So Barbercheck's coming up with a concept where, and forget, he'll correct me if I'm, but basically it's you input, let's say if someone said to you, hey, I want to build something, and the first thing you'd say is, well, what supplies do you have? What skills do you have? Okay, you could probably build X, right? But this is an app that will take your skills and your supplies and your time and give you an open market of ideas that will fit that skill set, that time, and that and those supplies. Is that right, Barbercheck?
Yeah, pretty much. It's mainly the two constraints that it works well under is skills, which you as the educator can use the system to define, and tool availability, which again you can define. So when Ron logs in here, and again, this is like rough prototype, super beta version. Like you're gonna even find words spelled wrong here, but he'll be able to do a few things. One, there's going to be like default tools. So this is just a bunch of tools that I assume Ron has to begin with. But if Ron doesn't have those tools, he can delete them. And if he has something that I don't have uploaded in there, he can add a new tool. And so he can create his own tool library. And then he can go ahead and create a project library. And what he can do is tag each project. You need this, and this tool to do it. And so the projects you can filter the projects by which tool. Like if you want to emphasize a specific tool, you can say, I want to emphasize the miter saw for this. You can, filter projects based off skill tool use. You're not quite up to using a miter saw yet. So you need to stay with tools and find projects that way. And so then the third option you could do is you can go ahead and create badges. So basically you got tool from a safety certification or just availability, and badges as your input. You can write the badges. I've got some badges written in there just as kind of examples, which you can delete, copy, reuse. They're pretty rough as well, but just kind of placeholders to pitch the idea. You can say, hey, you can't use the lathe until you've done this, and this. And you can write those objectives or change them. And so basically, it's curating projects. It's giving you a shopping list of projects that match your skill level and match your tool availability. And then your other inputs too, like materials, like having a materials inventory incorporated into it, and everything else is in the future plans.
I don't know if you guys understand how big this is. You've been talking about this since I know you.
Pretty much, yeah. And a lot of us already do this. Just it's non-digital. It's mental. You know what I mean? It's and taking up brain space. The idea behind this is just to like, as you probably are aware, I've talked a lot about managing my brain space, like to reduce your cognitive load, so you can dedicate more time to thinking, and then also hit the student's Goldilocks zone more often. So their Goldilocks zone is when you're challenging them with like typically what's 90% content they can already they're practicing, they've already acquired a level of proficiency in, so they're practicing it. But then there's 10% new and novelty and challenge that they have to overcome. Like that's not always a 90-10 ratio, but as an example, that's like the Goldilocks zone. And my thing is, because I have a hodgepodge of students at the same time, who some are taking my class for the very first time, and I'm the only shop class in the school, and some are taking it for literally the sixth time, it's tough for me to deliver content to both those windows. What this would do is curate a project for the first year student without me really having to stress a whole lot, because I've already pre-decided what projects are appropriate and they're uploaded onto this. I've pre-decided what skills are appropriate and they're uploaded onto this, and the student can interact with it and use it. And then at the same time, the more advanced student, I'm able to hit his or her Goldilocks zone, because again, it's just curating projects based on where they're at and what you have to work with.
Okay, so let's just say, so where do I start? I started with the tools you have. These are the two constraints: tools and badges, or
yeah. And,
okay,
and you can make up your own badge.
All right. So let's just say the kid knows how to use the drill press. No, let's do handsaw. So now what happened? Oh, project length. Does that matter?
It doesn't matter a whole lot. That's a feature I'm waiting to get feedback on, because somebody said I need to leave it. I think it needs to go because it's too ambiguous and arbitrary of a.
Okay, that's important. But okay, so now what's the next step?
All right, so if you start like right now, scroll down. How many projects are available? Okay, so it's got all the projects uploaded. All right, go ahead and scroll up. And then you hit search projects. So you got handsaw selected.
Oh, search
hit
project.
The yellow. Yep. And then scroll down.
It doesn't update. Barbercheck, it doesn't update till you hit search project.
Yes. So it needs
that's
to
not that's not entirely clear.
Okay.
So all right. Okay, so now it got down here and it says handsaw and rafter angle. Oh yeah, freaking angle. Yeah, I got you. Like the tri-square thing. And then easy class, jigsaw, drill press, hit. All right, so now if I want to see the plans.
So those are the two projects that use a handsaw.
This is awesome. And then there it is. The category. And then where does this come from? I was imagining that this would be an open marketplace where people could compete to get their project into these categories. Or is it closed and this came from you or like an example?
So there's not a cloud potential yet. Like that's kind of what you're talking about.
Like, and then it could get voted up or voted down, like, so like, for instance, if you just go back a second, like imagine, I'm going to redesign your project. No, like you go back. Okay. You go to handsaw, you go to search, and then
that you're kind of talking like how Thingiverse works for 3D modeling.
Oh, is it?
Online? When you click on, if you're doing a search, people put up these things that you can download, but depending on how many times they've been downloaded or
Yeah, that's what I
liked or
mean.
whatever, it puts them up higher and stuff.
Because like the way I search on Amazon is what I do is I say I don't really care about. I don't know what this thing costs, but I know how many people reviewed it. You got like 40,000 reviews with 4.5 stars. I'm like, okay, there's no reason for me to search any further. That's the one, you know? And it's always right. But if it says like 100 views and it's a 4.5, you're like, it could be a 5, and you're like, I don't know. So you just don't. So I don't know. So then I have to scroll through. But if I could just click, and be like, all right, like this is it. Everybody wants to build this thing. Anyway, just
Yeah. So that's on the like long-term plan.
yeah, one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
But and the other thing though that you can do is like Ron, if he has a set of plans he wants to upload, he can, and it's just private to him, or and so if you have like copyrighted, let's like I can't like mass distribute some of this stuff because I've got some like copyrighted stuff, I guess you could say. So, but I might want to upload it for my students, which I am able to do.
Oh, that makes sense. So you have,
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is closed in the sense that there's some default projects that I've uploaded, which, by the way, if you have project plans written and you want them on here, and we'll definitely tag your whatever credit you want or whatever, send them to me because I'm looking to populate that database anyways of projects, and get more people using it and testing it out and getting all the bugs out of it, because the idea here is if I can get this hurdle, get a few shop teachers test it and get enough interest, I can go back to the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Foundation and say, hey, these are the advanced features that are most requested by a lot of the shop teachers. It's empowering us to offer better education for our students. Will you sponsor this a little bit further? And so far, they've given me no indicators why they wouldn't. There's no like clear indicator that they will, other than if history's a judge that they will, because basically every idea I've pitched them, they've listened to and respected greatly, and offered some coaching here and there, and that they're willing to get behind.
Yeah,
So,
no, you're very supportive, and they
yeah,
should support you. You got some great. You're very dedicated shop teachers. Like pretty obvious,
So yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. So take that link, and I'll probably be pushing some updates on it here soon. And then if you've got plans you want uploaded or you got feedback, just let it come at me, because I'm at a point where I need to batch it out. I need to get things out there. I need to get people clicking and bumbling through it, trying to upload their own badges, trying to upload their own projects, and seeing how that works.
Oh, how do you upload a project?
So if you go to projects,
okay,
there's the default projects. Now, if you don't like a project I have, you can delete it, but you can create a project, and there is where you say, these are the tools you need to do this project. And then on the right side, you can say, this is the badge you need to do the project. Right now, there's no way for the student to interact with this page. And so that's going to be a next stepping stone. But eventually the student will have their own dashboard where they can see, oh, I've got this badge, this badge, this badge. That unlocks this project, this project, this project. And then if I get a new project as a teacher, I just type in a name. I say, you need this, this, and this tool. You need to have, you want to make a baseball bat, you better have wood turning safety badge. Check. That's required. Now it pushes it out to the students' dashboards. Says new project available, wood turning badge required.
This is awesome. You have done amazing. I don't know if you guys know, but he's been working on this for a long time, and he has put a lot of time and energy into it. This is an actual thing. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. So Ron could make a project, a sheet metal project. He could write his own sheet metal badge and say, these are the requirements for the sheet metal badge. And then he could sheet metal badge 2, sheet metal level 2. You can't do the dustpan until you've reached these next requirements.
Yeah. there's some tools though that like are you gonna add like sheet metal shear and rivet gun and
I might, but you can if you want.
oh I can.
Yeah. For
How
your
do I
rig.
add how do I add tools? Here?
Yep, go to tools.
Uh-oh. I'm in gray.
So it does this every now and then. You got to hit refresh.
Yeah, hit refresh. It did it to me too.
Oh.
Little bug.
Tools. So I could add check this out.
Go to the right, go to add new tool.
No way. Dude, this is legit.
And then you can say so you can say what tool you have, upload. You can take a picture of the tool in your shop and upload that as your image. I just took Harbor Freight stock photos for the default tools, but if you don't like my Harbor Freight Raptor square there, you can delete it, create Raptor square again, take a picture of the actual one you use in the shop if you want. And
wow.
Or if you are not woods based and you want to upload your sheet metal tools, you just upload them. And then when you go to upload your sheet metal projects, you just say, hey, to make this toolbox, you need this, and this tool to be able to do it.
I guess you could put it in the description, but also something that could be helpful. Like for me, all the tools are in a tool trailer in drawers, whatever. Let's say I had a labeling system and it says impact gun, tool trailer, location, then you have a category location be tool trailer, cubby 3, row 2. And then now, or like in the shop, it'd be like, I don't know, whatever, east, however you label wall, let's just say west wall, red cabinet, third drawer. Like,
yes.
So because now since it's your tool, your picture, and you could have just like, you can look up, you can go to like Walmart.com and find an item and it'll tell you what row, aisle, and everything where it's at.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea, man. So basically what I'm hearing is that modifications column, which I plan on getting rid of anyways.
Do locations.
Turn it into locations, and then boom, your kid gets a project curated for their skill level, and the tools are there, and you just eliminated 90% of the questions you get that day.
Yep.
Because the most common question you get every day is, where is this in this?
Yep.
Well, you're still going to get that, but not as much.
You know what I just realized? Not only could this have an open market for adding your stuff, which it kind of does, but it doesn't have a vote up system yet. Not only that, but it's also personalized. So it's very much like once this is integrated into your curriculum, forget about it. This is where you're going to go to run your shop. And kids could, on their own, toggle through this whole thing. Obviously, put some restrictions, but you could say the merit badge system, like you said, this is awesome.
You could have kids write their own badge. In fact, that was my final at the end of the year this year, was come up with 10 should knows for the class. And it wasn't very elaborative, but it was a very, very light version of write your own badge. And you could definitely have students do that. And
or you could throw that in your exit interview even.
Yeah, totally. What else should other people have known, or what do you wish you'd have known more of before you moved on to this project, or whatever else? Totally. And you can change it as you go, pretty easy to modify. The badge in like creating a badge is a little bit bulky on the way we have it processed out right now. But maybe it's not as bulky as I think it is. And that's why it'd be cool if some of you check it out, and either, mitigate my concerns or prioritize other concerns or validate my things that are working, because whatever.
What's the difference between badges and objectives?
So I want the objectives job tab gone, and I think it's going to be gone for a little bit. But a badge is a series of objectives. So if you go to badges, and you click on just general shop woods level 1. Okay, there's like a list of requirements or objectives you have to earn to get that badge. If you wanted to simplify it, you could just say lump badge and requirement into one, technically, if you wanted to. If you're running a very, very like focused small curriculum, you could do that. And it might be simpler, you know, but I think of badges as like the Boy Scout merit badge, and there's more than one requirement before you earn that badge. But what I learned when I was making this process is most people in education, they see like drive 7 evenly spaced roofing nails into a length of 2x4, and they think that's a hammering badge. Like that's a badge in itself. And so there was a little bit of semantics that I was kind of wrestling with when it came to choosing some of my terminology, but I finalized on this for now.
And then we can integrate the ultimate. No, I had this idea where the kids submit projects and then it gets voted on.
Yeah,
That
so
was
like a crowd grading feature.
Yeah, the
like
crowd grader. I haven't said that phrase in a long time. I forgot about that.
That's like phase 9. I'm on phase 4 right now.
No, that's perfectly fine. This is a really good start, man.
Yeah.
What's this? Oh, I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is something. I mean, I could honestly, what I was just talking about doing, I could easily plug this in right now and put this all together and use this year in that format.
Awesome. And if you're willing to share it, I'll upload it as one of the default options.
Oh yeah.
So other teachers, you know what I mean? Like if you have like, I don't know, a job, you know, scaffolding certification or whatever, and you think it's worth like putting up there that somebody else can use, and then it's up there in the library, and then when Ron logs in, he's got the option to use it or not.
Very cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see what other teachers are doing too. You could be like, I wonder what.
Yeah.
What
badges? Right now, if you want it like public, I would call it. You got to send it to me. There's no like make public option right now. But that's the part I'm really looking forward to, because then I think the whole library will populate. And if we got the curator adjusted right, then you'll be able to like really just get a kid to find a project interested in, good skill level, and your management is a little bit less, because we can also do quality control on the plans. You know, if they're junk plans, well, one, you have the option to delete them. But two, like, I don't want to upload Ted's 5,000 woodworking plans or whatever. I really want, like right now, I kind of have placeholder content in there, and some of the stuff that's in there is really not that bad. But to have it full of teacher-created content, I think would be more powerful, because every time I've looked at a good set of plans written by a teacher, you know automatically that set of plans came from a teacher. And I could look at a quality set of plans from like Fine Woodworking or Woodsmith, and it's obvious they're not written by a teacher. We could upload those, and they might be within a student's skill level, but they're not build-wise, but presentation-wise, they're not. You know what I'm saying? Whereas teacher-created content sometimes has a better presentation value to students, because teachers know like what team. So I'm just taking a long way of saying, like, we'll be able to filter, so we're not working with junk plans. And so, yeah, you don't even have to, you could participate in this platform and never have to think up of a plan for your program, technically. Hopefully there'd be enough of a library uploaded that you could just contract that out to the other shop teachers that have been willing to do it, and you're good.
Well, the nice thing too, Matt, is like once that library gets built, then you could have another filter added on there where it's construction, plumbing, electrical, metal, you know, like, I mean, you know, once you get so many, you could almost just categorize it to a class type, which would be nice.
Totally.
Because obviously anything that I would submit in would be, you know, wall framing, or, I mean, there would be like sawhorse building or something. But Wiring up an outlet is one. Hooking together a P-trap, on plumbing and stuff. So
Totally.
that could all fall underneath the construction.
Yeah.
But
and
yeah, right. This is awesome.
You could upload I do want to get to where it's got multiple content areas in there, and even like open-ended project prompts, like not just plans, but get to a point where if you've unlocked like a advanced creative thinking badge, or like Silicon Valley startup entrepreneurial badge, you could have open-ended prompts in the system as well that are like real world design challenges. Like the drought is getting worse out west. How do we get Great Lakes water over there, or whatever else? But you don't get that prompt unlocked unless you've earned, a certain rank. So you could upload open-ended design challenges into this as your projects, by skill level, like by what you're talking about. Content area is definitely a possibility, and I'm looking to upload more of that.
This is awesome. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Wow, it's so cool to see it come to life.
yeah, I'm
I can't
pretty
even believe it.
I'm pretty jacked.
Dude, this is great.
And,
you got a great name, Capable Maker.
yeah, it took a little head scratching, but I came up with it. And I wanted to add too, like for the objectives, the nice thing about the objectives is you could, in theory, if you have to teach 2 standards, I don't think all of us do, but if there's like someone's from up above's like, oh, you got to teach standard A4362.1843, you can go ahead and upload that into this, if you wanted to. One thing I'm looking for the crowd to partake is in not just maybe plans, even design prompts, but when it comes to objectives, I am always fascinated by how poorly written, like English language arts objectives. I've looked, my wife teaches English. I've looked at the standards she has to teach, and it's so ironic that they write these so horribly, And then if you try and show a student, hey, this is what you're learning, it's an immediate turnoff because they took 50 words to say research. You know what I mean? Like it's like no kid can comprehend that. They don't feel like, you know what I mean? But if you just tell a kid research, like it's going to go a lot further. So these like legislature or whatever written standards, you could upload if you wanted to. But from a crowd input, I think good worded teacher written objectives it is be something that will really empower a lot of teachers.
100%. I wonder. This is definitely empowering. I wonder if you could do repetitive projects. Yeah. I guess that would just be in the plans. Yeah. I'll try putting some plans in.
Sweet.
I'll put my flashlight project in.
Yeah.
And I'll have to put I have prerequisites for that, so I have to put all the prereqs as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You're really doing a good job over there. Now, I don't know if everybody knows. So is there any more about that? And then I wanted to move over to this.
No, that's it. That's fine. That's
okay. Dude, congratulations, dude. I mean,
thanks.
That's like, let's give it up for fucking Barberheck.
No, it's
this is huge.
It's for you guys. Like, I want you guys to be able to work as efficiently as possible because I know the work you do is so meaningful, and like I do it, and I want more of that happening, and I want it to happen easier. I don't want everyone to be as stressed. So I say all that so that you aren't afraid. Like, that's what I want. I don't want this to work. I want that. If this working gets me that, great. So I'm really open to feedback and just shoot it at me. Give it some test drive. If you want to get on a call with me, I'll talk with you through it while you try it out. If you want to email, just, hey, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, that's cool. Email, whatever works for you. I'm kind of showing you guys as an test audience. And if something's not working, like, it's more important to me that we make this work for teachers than my ego. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no,
like,
you're going the right way. Like it's a real practical approach to it.
yeah. And that's what I like. I love practicality and utilitarian. So if it doesn't work for you, I want to know that, and I just want to know why. And then I'll pivot if I need to, or I'll, you know what I mean? Like, I won't chase this rabbit. I'll find another rabbit to chase that'll empower you. You know, like that's what I want to know. Because in my head right now, it all works, but I can't see the forest through the trees anymore. And
Let me ask you a question. You know, this is recorded, and so if we push out this video, we got the newsletter. Do you want people to populate it and start using it?
I'm not. I'm scared to say yes, but I'm gonna say yes. You know,
Well, look, you could change it later, but
yeah.
for now, it's pretty obvious. You go to capablememaker.com, and you just
No, well, technically no. It's still
Oh.
capablemaker.softwareontheroad.com.
Oh, okay. So, but do you want people to do this?
Yes.
Okay, so capablememaker.softwareontheroad.com.
Yeah.
But if you change your mind and you got to shut it down or something like that, like let me know. I could hold off publishing the video, you know, because we're not trying to mess up your jam. We're just trying to.
It's not gonna mess it up. I think it's pretty clear if anyone's watching this that this is a beta version.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
if we push it out in a newsletter or anything, like that's what I would want to say is I would almost not want to market it as a tool yet. Like this isn't. I'm not sure this will help you yet.
Yeah. Hey, you want to try this out?
If you want to be a test user, jump on board. Be a test user. Provide your feedback, and let's find out if it's helpful.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I can put that in the newsletter if we put this video out, because then I can in the newsletter I can say, hey, jump to minute 80. You know,
Sure.
watch this. Watch this 20 minutes when we kind of talk about this, go over this, and then I'll give out Barbercheck's personal phone number and email.
Yeah, just do that. The other thing about it to keep in mind is the URL may change, so it might be a broken link, but depending on when you get this message. And then the other notice I would put out there is if I do an update on it, like Ron just created an account, he won't see the update unless he creates a new account.
Oh wow.
Weird. Yeah, it's kind of like I think it's a security measure so they don't to hold accounts. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
But for now, so I don't know if you guys know this trick, but if you're ever wanting to create multiple accounts at the same website, you can use your normal email. Like mine was mtbarbercheck@gmail.com, but you can also, I think it works with Gmail. I'm not sure if it works with other ones. If you just write mtbarbercheck+1 @gmail.com, it'll create a second account on that website for you. And then you can do that as many times as you want.
Weird.
Yeah. So if you ever I think people sometimes do it to get around like only one coupon per email.
What are you gonna say, Matt?
Whenever if you have to start a new one, that will lose all the information, like the project stuff you uploaded on the original or on the first one.
No, so far I haven't seen that.
Okay, as long as it doesn't lose everything, because
yeah,
you'd hate to put in all that information.
Yeah.
Oh, we got an update. There goes everything.
Yeah, that's funny. Look, check out Barbercheck. He's like so Silicon Valley now.
Dude, I'm kind of giddy for you and for me, just because, like I said, this was something I mean, obviously I knew you were working on this, Matt, but something I was going to start implementing. Until your thing was ready, I was going to implement my own little paper version or whatever, or or Excel sheet version, however I kept track of everything. But yeah, I'm excited to give it a test run and stuff. I'm hoping I can dedicate enough time to make it helpful for you on your end and developer end too. So
that's any use of it's helpful. And again, I'm not the end goal is not that works. It's that our work is easier somehow, you know. And
Yeah.
so if partway through you're like, man, this is gonna be easier on the Excel, switch to the Excel, and then just let me know why Excel is easier. I'll forward that to the developers and
I'll,
hopefully get the extended funding from Harbor Freight or whoever, and make that change.
yeah, I mean, I use an Excel now, and I call it level 0, and it has all these projects. Level 1, all these projects that are associated with skills. So it's a skills and project. And but I would gladly switch over to this if I could populate it. So I'll start out by trying it out.
Yeah, and what I'll end up doing is you can make feedback, and that's probably be one of the first upvote systems. You can upvote features or feedback or whatever,
mm,
and then I'll make that available to the developers, and developers, we can all go off of a crowd priority as far as how this will work for us. So, for example, supplies aren't on there as far as like, do you need dowel rod or how much hardwood or how much softwood or how much sheet metal? You know what I mean? That's not incorporated in there. And maybe we don't need it incorporated in there because all of us might have that in the back of our head on kind of on autopilot, or maybe we do need it in there, but we can upvote and downvote that as a crowd. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, is like getting some use, like getting the freaking experiment test results back, and then just like adjusting some dials and gauges, and like I'm gonna use it and I'll make it work for me, but I think I can make it work for me better if other people are using it and finding different
100%.
ways.
This is a software thing. You're trying to get. I mean, Instagram probably. Actually, I'll give you an example. Airbnb. I heard their story. Basically, they rolled it out, and they had a whole bunch of people in New York signed up, but no one was making any money. It was like barely making any money, and they they're over there in San Francisco, but a lot of their users were in New York because that's like super dense and crowded, and they said, okay, we got to solve this. Like, how come people aren't using it as much? So one guy's like, let's look at the pictures. So they look at the pictures, and they're all terrible pictures. They said, okay, well, we're going to have to hire professional photographers. But they're like, how could every user, we can't afford to do this for every user. So what they finally figured out was, no, they don't have to do this permanently. They just need one time. They got to get on a plane, go to New York City, and go to these people's houses and take professional photography to get the app moving. It was just a push. And once they did that, these things rented like no problem. And then every new user was like, oh, that's what you do. So you might need a few teachers just to try it out a little bit. And then there's going to be this idea that just pushes it and leads it forward. It could be a teacher, it could be you, and you're a teacher too, but like you're the app designer, and it's just there's going to be you need users to find out
Yeah,
your real challenge. 100%. This is
that
like a
feed,
normal.
yeah, that feedback
This is
loop has to
normal
start.
bumpy road for a software rollout.
Well, and honestly, it's been kind of boring getting to this point. So I'm looking forward to a few bumps. Not that I'm not grateful, but I've been way too blessed almost with Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Foundation, willing to get behind the idea financially, and then just getting the right connections with an affordable developer who's super responsive. And I can't find a ceiling on the guy. I mean, he'll be able to output whatever we want. It's just time and money. Have test audience, right here in just accessible between this and the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools prize, like other prize winners I can tap into. It's kind of like really cool to but it was almost too easy sometimes. I was like, wait a minute, why is this working so well?
No, because it's in the right place. You got the right people involved, so
Yeah.
you're good, man. This is you're in the right spot. Okay, I want to show people more something else that you work on, which is uh, you have like an class economy. I know it's kind of late, but we'll just go over this quick. You're closed for the summer, but you have galaxy painting, which is actually pretty cool. Folding lap sofa table, clipboard, storage box, and elephant phone holder. And then you have this whole thing. Now you can buy these things during the year. So I decided to buy one. I bought this one, which I can't click on, the storage box, and it's actually here. Now, when I'm recording, it's only going to record the person talking. So I actually have to mute. I got to set it up so the phone, the overhead, is the one getting the action here. Let me just hold on one second. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You'll have to mute your original. Now unmute your phone. You should be good.
All right, how's that?
Got it.
Okay, but this one's muted. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, so. Oh, man. There's always something. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. I never know how to get this thing to stay. Oops. All right. Okay. All right. Let's cut this open. I bought this thing like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go. I hope I don't cut anything paperwork. And now, how much was this again? Like $25 or something?
I don't even remember.
And yeah, I can't wait to see this. Ooh, this is cool. This was made by a high school kid. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God, there's a letter. It's so cool. Dude, this is awesome. This is so high school. This is great. Okay, there's like spray paint stained. This is from Michigan. Do like a chart. Like this is like high school shop class. Like you can't get more high school shop class than this type of spray painted. Jesus. Look at this. Latch installed. It's just directions. All right, here we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Tell me in my right spot. Here we go. All right. Can you guys see that? Okay. Thank you for purchasing the clipboard. There we go. From Busy Hawks Build. I'm the instructor for this student. Ran business. I do my best to stay hands off and truly let the business be student run. That said, you'll find some variations between products. Some flaws may be evident. My priority is student growth. Business growth is a secondary concern, which means consistency. Is this your handwriting?
It's a student's handwriting.
It's interesting.
Yeah, we made a font. You can make a font out of handwriting.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. This is awesome.
All that packaging was decisions made by students. Like that was a design challenge.
This is interesting.
It's handwritten font.
Like look at the handwriting. Oh wait, sorry. It's like you know what I mean? It's kind of like funny, like how that's how it's all over the place, you know? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm getting anxious. I want to see the thing. I'm anxious now. All right, give us your feedback. That was the end of the story there. Whoa. So we got, it's painted. It says making a case for trades in education, literally. It's
Got
literally a case. All right, and we got, you know what? I'm gonna take it off this. Jesus. All right. How's this? Okay. Here we go. All right. All right, we're lifting up here. We're lifting up. There we go. All right, we got a piano hinge. And we got, oh, this is all spot welded together. Cool. It's awesome. Look at this leather strap. I don't know why, but we got grade 8 bolts.
That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, just in case, I guess. Jesus. And we got,
they were available.
oh yeah, they were. Oh, the magnet that holds it in. That's cool. Nice, baby, nice. Look at this. We got some character here. It's awesome. All right. Hold on. Oh, Jesus. It's a guillotine. All right. Dude, this is cool, man. It's got the dust on it, you know? Like the it's got shop teacher dust. This is awesome. I appreciate it. And it's got you put the clipboard there. Boom. You're out there in the field and you're like, all right, it's time. All right, what are you guys doing over there? Hey, oh yay! All right, let's go. Let's get the, you know, you got to get serious, man. You can't walk around with a clipboard like this without yelling at a couple people, you know. Anyway, okay, let me end this thing, this phone. All right, can you guys hear me? Okay. Very cool. Thank you, Barbercheck.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So I hope that, you know, the kid. So who built this? Do you know?
I actually probably saw a few different hands because we actually got to a point where we kind of process engineered it and did a mass assembly style unit. But there's a few learning curve there. Like that metal is like pretty thin gauge metal, but it was the only thin. Yeah, I went super thin gauge on the metal.
It's not that
So you'll
bad.
see the walls are double walled. Because that's what was available. Like that's what I could get my hands on to fit my vehicle from the local stores. And so it's kind of funny. It's like undersized a little bit there, but then yeah, you're right. It's got the grade 8 bolts. But again, that's just what I had available. So it was like,
It's rolled. Oh, I see.
you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you gotta hem the edge. Yeah, you did, but you didn't just hem it. You doubled it.
No, I did. It's double walled. The entire wall is the hinge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not just hemmed. It's double. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. This is awesome, man. Nice.
Cool.
So what do I put in here? Like, oh, I gotta populate. Got my pen there. I could probably put my whole laptop in here.
Just thinking that kids' Chromebooks fit in there.
Yeah,
That was what the whole design came up from, was pandemic, kids getting Chromebooks, trying to keep student supplies separate. So as a group of teachers at the school, we were talking about it, and I was like, well, we can make the students, and so we made one for all the students. They never used them. So it was like we did all this, and it's meant to hold their Chromebook and for them to keep their Chromebook safe and keep everything separate, but they just never used them. So it's kind of like, all right, guess that didn't work.
got my Chromebook, clipboard. Look out! I'm ready. You can fit a charger in here. You just gotta watch as you move your hands around that you don't slice them. the only thing.
Just hit it with the file. You'll be all right.
This is cool. Very cool
You
stuff.
got the booby trapped one.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. It's such a cool thing that you can like receive a shop made project.
Ron, did your mic get moved or something?
Oh, are you there? You there?
Like it sounds like you're like way off in the distance.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
There you go. You got it.
Is it back? Is it back?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay. It's a USB mic, so it probably got knocked out or something. I don't know. My table's a freaking mess right now. This is crazy. You know. All right, this is cool. Pretty late. We should probably wrap it up. This was a very special episode. The rollout, catch up with Barbercheck and rollout of his, very cool stuff going on. Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, let's end the recording here. If anybody made it this far in the recording, you get a prize. I don't know what the prize is, but
a Chromebook.
Yeah.
You got to buy it next year and pay $25.
Yeah, there you go. Support your shop teacher. And if you want to go on to get another thing, how do they? Oh, the Busy Hawks build. That's it.
I need to put that in the newsletter. How have we not done that yet? How have we not done that?
I don't know.
Don't let me forget.
Okay, we'll do that for sure. And we'll hit it
obviously
up
for next year, but because it's closed
but,
right now. But yeah.
No, but still, you know what? It would give ideas to other teachers saying, "Hey, like, you could set up this shop. What's EdCorps? Maybe you could give us a tour. You want to give us the 30-second tour real quick?"
EdCorps is a non-profit organization partnered with, believe it or not, Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Foundation. That, but they also operate as a separate entity. They're looking to turn classrooms into like entrepreneurial places, and they work with like second grade classrooms even. And so, what they do is they made that. Gave me the website template, so they host the website for me that you're looking at. They send me like $1,000 seed money, and then they provide a little bit of like online curriculum that you can have your students engage with, and they're pretty supportive throughout it all. It's still an undertaking, like to start a student-ran business. It's much more an undertaking than I anticipated, but they make it a lot easier because they put a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together already for you. Plus, they give you seed money to get started. But you got to apply to get in. And I think they're downsizing, unfortunately. I'm not sure. But it's worth looking into and seeing how you can. If you want it, if you're interested in that and you want to contact with EdCorps and you can't find out how to do it, contact me and I'll give you a contact info.
There's so much good stuff tonight. Wow, I didn't know that.
I had to be gone for so long so I could save everything up for one good one.
You gotta grow out your hair. That's what happened.
Barbercheck was just waiting for us, the newsletter to say open forum. He's like, got it. Here's my chance. They don't have nothing to talk about.
That's funny.
Steal the show.
Yeah, maybe he did. All right, I'm gonna hit end recording. Thanks a lot. Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let us know you want to be a guest. All right, see you later.